Yeah,
Nice.
recording in progress. So, welcome. So, I'm joined by, is it actually Jojo?
It's
Or is it
actually
Jojo?
Jojo, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Jojo. Yeah.
Excellent. Um, so, Jojo has a company called GCSE Writing, and I am very pleased to who was it? Daisy put us in touch, didn't she, with you?
Yeah. Your English tutor
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm very pleased because it's going to be absolutely spot on and just what we're looking for national tutors for English literature and language. Just a bit of background for us. We have a recorded courses, we have little assessments, but for English, as I'm sure you all emphasize, it's all about exam practice, writing practice, and getting that feedback. And I know we've been looking at AI to do this, but I think this is so much better. So much better. So I'm going to get you to talk about what it's all about. I'm also going to let you share as well, if
Sure.
you want to guide us through what a student will experience and it's just amazing. I'm just like buzzing. Um, but yeah,
Um,
if you can just introduce
I'll take
yourself.
you through it. Yeah. So I mean, the key thing, as you said, Claire, is that English is really a subject of essays.
Yeah.
Is subject almost entirely comprised of essay writing, and students often don't know how they're doing. They don't know how they're performing in these
Mm.
essays. It's not like maths or science where you can mark your own work, see how you're doing, and improve. So they don't know how they're doing. That's number one, and they don't know how to improve. And that's a really big problem for all kinds of students. Students in schools have this problem because their teachers are just too busy to give them much feedback. But especially students in homeschooling, also, they might not know how they're performing. And so what we have is a platform where students can write essays and they receive feedback from experienced examiners.
Yes.
So instead of all this AI that you're seeing, this is the only platform where it's through examiners. So
Yeah.
that's sort of the overview.
And that is just brilliant. You are getting that feedback from people that know how to answer exam questions for boost. And particularly with us, we're home ed
Mm.
based, um,
Yeah.
who don't have, I mean, we have our weekly mentoring sessions with a tutor teacher, going through things and answering questions, but it's not that individual feedback that is needed basically. So we will we believe this will complement those home ed students that don't have direct, contact with a teacher on a sort of lesson
Yeah. And
thing.
I would emphasize, so I mean, it's the perfect companion because you've got the learning and you've got the practice and feedback. But I would also emphasize, it's not like you're actually putting yourself on par with kids in school. You're actually giving yourself more feedback than any student in school can get, and
Yes.
it's also very reasonable. It's a fraction of the price of a tutor, and the reason that's the case is because it's super targeted. You're not wasting your time being told how to write in a 60-minute session. You're doing all the work yourself, really, and the examiner's looking through it and giving you the feedback, which doesn't
Yeah.
take them too long. So it becomes very affordable. The other thing is we show the student exactly how to improve, and that's the key thing for a 15-year-old GCSE student. They just want to know what do I need to do and how do I do
Yeah.
it, and it needs to be explained to them in a really clear way.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, by the way, the same for all people of all ages. We tend to give too much feedback, and I spent sort of a long time visiting schools and seeing the best practices in giving feedback. And it's really all about giving the student the one key area of improvement.
Mm.
That if they make that improvement, that's what's going to boost their
Yeah.
essays the most.
Absolutely.
And we can do that because we've got the time, we've got the volume, the ability to practice multiple essays. So they write one creative writing essay, they're given a key area of improvement for next time, they write another one, and then over time, their grade improves in that essay type, and then they move on to the next essay type. So that's the model. And the way the feedback's given, as we'll see, is with all things directed to help the student understand this area of improvement. So
Yeah.
written comments from the examiner, voice recordings explaining how to make the improvement, and a model example showing how
Mm.
that improvement takes place.
Yeah.
Um, And so with those tools, the examiner can really communicate to the student how to improve. The student then is confident and encouraged to write the next essay, knowing that they have something to focus on.
Yeah.
And by following that cycle, over time, we're seeing really tremendous improvement.
Yeah. How long have you been going?
It's pretty new actually. So it's been going since September.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's been going really longer than that because last year there was a lot of testing and optimizing, and we saw great results. But in this version, as you'll see now, has been going since September.
Yeah.
So that's why it's sort of National Tutors customers won't necessarily be aware of it, and are getting this opportunity to take advantage of what I think is quite an obvious solution, giving examiners the ability to provide feedback.
Mm.
Um, because there's a lot of examiners who sort of tutors in the evening and they examine in the summer and they're
Mm.
looking for work during the day, and this enables them to do that and
Yeah.
pass on their expertise and make it accessible to all students. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping this is a really effective
Do
model for students
yeah,
across the country.
does it have like some set questions? Oh, oops.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
all,
just fallen
all
off the desk. Does it already have like set exam questions that students can pick and answer? Or yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, so all the we don't let the students choose the questions, like as in, sorry, they choose the questions, but they're not creating questions themselves. It's all questions that have been created by examiners
Hmm.
and are the exact kinds of questions students would receive in the exam. Generally, we've got more questions than there are past questions. We can't copy exactly the AQA past questions because that's illegal, but we've got our own questions built by examiners who, know
Yeah.
exactly the kinds of
And this is
questions that students
another
get.
issue why we're moving away from AI, so the copyright now that they're putting in place because they know that they can be used for AI and things like that. So having this, it was important for me as a company to have something in place that helps students progress and assess and move on. Obviously, AI was gonna, we were looking into that. We've got something going on. It's not an examiner's feedback. It's not that level yet. And now you've got this additional thing where it's all copyright now. So you
Mm.
can't upload and train the AI based on past papers.
Yeah.
So this is our answer. And as you said, with science and
Sorry, just give me a second. Someone's knocking on my door.
I'll just pause it. So we're back. So yeah, we were just talking about copyright issues. It's not
Yeah.
it's not as easy now to do that and train the AI to provide that feedback. So this, for me and my business and the support side of things, is just that piece of puzzle that we were looking for.
Yeah, yeah. And so the reason I did this is I saw actually the move to AI. And just from my own experience, the feedback that always resonated with me was verbal feedback from teachers explaining how to improve. I was lucky enough to study PPE at Oxford, and one of the things you had every week was you write an essay. You spend all week writing an essay, and then you spend time talking to your tutor about how to improve. And I
Mm,
found that process every week. I knew exactly what I needed to work on, and I wanted to sort of recreate that.
yeah,
And just as humans, we are evolved to listen to feedback from people we trust.
yeah,
And so when we hear from someone and you hear the examiners talking, you understand that they're experts, and it becomes so much easier. And actually, the one of the things that happens is students using our platform are much more likely to write the next essay because
yeah,
they trust that they're actually involved in a useful process. So they're
yeah,
going to keep going.
yeah.
Whereas students on AI platforms will actually, they're much more likely to stop,
Mm,
which makes sense because they don't know that they're actually engaged in something that's going to help them.
yeah.
So why would they spend their time doing
I
that?
think I think that's quite true because even with having someone that knows you haven't done the work or that, I think
Mm.
there's that like that connection. Whereas with AI, it's like you're not letting the AI down, but you're letting
No.
it's yeah, psychological sort of.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. So I'll just
So
show you.
yeah, please show us what how it all works.
Yeah, sure.
Pickles is very interested in this, aren't you, Pickles?
That's good. The cats always love it.
Oh
Uh,
dear, don't. It's a nightmare.
all right. Um, so yeah, can you see this screen?
Yes, beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So this is a student submitted a creative writing essay, and I'm just showing you now the student submitted it, what the
Hmm.
feedback looks like for the student. So feedback's split into, as you can see, four tabs. So the first tab is always going to be what the student did well, the
Yeah.
key thing the student did well, because oftentimes the student does something well, and because they're young or lacking confidence, they haven't had the feedback, they don't know they've actually done something well, and they ne won't necessarily replicate that in the next essay.
Mm.
This is quite important. It also is important to hear positive reinforcement, and
Mm.
that makes it easier to take on the not criticism, but feedback, the constructive feedback that comes in the next slides. Um, so this student, if you read through their creative writing essay, has used lots and lots of linguistic devices, which the examiner picks up on in their comments. So the merciless cold, an aggressive painting of grey engulfing me, surrounding me, and laughing at me.
Yeah.
And you can see like there are issues with this essay, but the examiner's really focused on this strength. So,
Yeah.
for example, the symbolism used for impact, the contrast here, and then you can hear it in the voice recording, which is the most powerful part always.
Hi, Shelley. So, firstly, well done on producing such an engaging piece of writing. The level of detail and description that you go into is impressive, really, really impressive. And I've picked out as your strength your use of linguistic devices because the imaginative and figurative language devices
So
that,
that, yeah, that's just an idea. I don't want to paint the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But that shows you the type of feedback the students are getting. And then the second slide is the most important slide because that is the key area that if the student works on this area, they're going to see the most improvement in the next essay.
Hmm.
So this student, if you read through the comments, is struggling with sentence demarcation, which this explains it's about making it clear when sentences begin or end, right? So
Mm.
that's what the examiner selected from a list of options about what could need to improve the examiner selected sentence demarcation. And you can see here in the first sentence, two independent clauses are used here, and they
Yeah.
really need to be separated with a semicolon or a full stop. Um, this sentence needs a comma. It's just a long sentence with a
Too
lot
long.
where there should
Yeah.
be a lot of pauses. Here too, the examiner points out there need to be clearer sentence boundaries. And so throughout, the examiner selected some key examples of where this improvement needs to take place. But the voice
Mm.
recording now, the examiner is going to explain how to make this improvement and why it's important. Um,
Excellent. Yeah.
and so that's really where the student's going to hear. They might see this feedback and be like, all right, that's great. I don't really understand how to do that. And then hopefully the examiner is going to explain how to actually do that.
Mm.
Shelley, so I've identified your area for improvement as your sentence demarcation. So there are just a few times, and I've highlighted three, where your punctuation detracts slightly from the content. So just be careful that you don't have run on sentences or what you have written in your sentence isn't clear because of lack of punctuation. So, what I would recommend you do is when you finish a piece of writing, read it out loud to yourself and just listen for where those pauses are, those breaks naturally occur, and make sure they're appropriately punctuated. Don't forget if you've got two independent clauses, a comma isn't strong enough to separate them. You need to make sure that you have a semicolon or a full stop, depending on whether they're linked in terms of their ideas. But yeah, read it out loud to yourself and just listen to the flow.
So that's going to be really useful because the
Mm.
student now has a technique, a method for addressing this particular area of improvement.
Yeah.
And then in the model example, what the examiner's done, as they'll explain would have explained at the end of this voice recording,
Hmm.
is just rewritten the first um, paragraph. Um, yeah, it's the first paragraph, appropriately punctuated. So the student
Yeah.
can now read through and see how they could have done it. And in the final slide, the student can see all of the
Everything.
feedback
Mm.
together and they can print it. Um,
Excellent. Yeah.
um, they can print it. There's not, this is, I'm viewing this as the administrator, so you
Yeah.
can't see the print feature, but there's, when the student's viewing it in their own account, they can print
Yeah.
it. And then there's a final voice recording, the purpose of which is really to encourage the student to write the next essay. That's what the examiner's thinking
Yeah.
about, because we know that's how the student's going to improve.
Do they
So
offer a question, another question to do, or is it just any question?
they'll tell them what to do. So the examiner can actually see how many, this is a creative writing essay. They can see how many creative writing essays the student's done.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think this was the student's first creative writing essay. So the examiner's actually going to say, write another creative writing essay
Mm.
and focus on sentence demarcation. If the examiner can see the student's actually done like four creative writing essays in a row and has really worked on their creative writing, they're going to actually tell them to move on to persuasive writing, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be actually very specific by the examiner as to what the
Yeah.
student should do. So I'll sort of go to the towards the end of this.
In the last audio clip, read your work out loud to yourself. And I know it can feel a little bit awkward sometimes to start with, but it's a really valuable exercise. So read it out loud to yourself and then listen for where perhaps the meaning is not quite clear because of your the way that you have or haven't demarcated your sentence. But Shelley, you've done really, really well with this piece and I enjoyed reading it. So well done. Keep up the good work. And I look forward to reading your next piece of writing.
So yeah, that's it, and
Yeah.
it's super encouraging. That's the purpose of that
Yeah.
last point. It
It,
might feel repetitive, but on the student side, that's going to really make it incredibly clear to them how
yeah.
to improve.
Yeah. It's
Um,
really good. I really like it. And you do language questions and literature.
Yeah, we do language and literature. I mean, I can actually show you what it looks like for your students if they're using the link that we provide, because
Hmm.
we're giving your students a special link. And in following that link, they select what their options are,
Yeah.
what text they're studying, and that will then translate to what questions they can answer.
Yeah.
So let me just go back here. Um,
Because we've got our own special page, haven't we?
you've got your
That
own
you've
special
created, which is lovely.
um, so let me go. How do I do this? Um, Open guest profile, that will work. National tutors.
Hmm.
So if I share my screen, hope that's it. No, that isn't it. 1 second.
That's all right.
Get rid of that. Uh, There we go. Got so many tabs open.
Like
Um,
me, I've had to just
yeah.
delete loads of tabs.
Yeah, so you basically if you go to gccwriting.com/natural tutors, you'll be
Hmm.
directed here. You'll have to enter your email address, which I should stop share and do. Um, and then you'll get a confirmation. Um, at which point you will um, um, here we go. Yeah, so you'll be directed to the next page.
Hmm.
I'll reshare. Sorry, I didn't want to share my email, although that would have been fine, to be honest. Here we go. So then they ask you a series of questions. So when are you taking your GCSEs? It actually works best for kids that are taking their, obviously works best if you're taking your GCSEs further in the future because you've got more time to
More
implement the
time.
feedback
Yeah.
like this. So that's ideal. It's ideal for year 10 students. Or even year 9 students can practice the creative writing, the persuasive writing, and get really
Mm.
good at that. Um, Obviously, it's going to be useful in year 11, especially now because you've got 5 months till the exams.
Yeah.
But the further in the future, the more chance you've got to practice, because it's a gradual process of improvement designed
Yeah.
to accompany the classes you're taking. So yeah, so let's say the students doing AQA, English language and literature, which
Excellent.
is the vast majority of students, I imagine, for you guys. Um,
Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Christmas
yeah, so we've
Carol.
got all the options. We've got
Yeah.
questions for all the options. Um,
Power. Yeah.
and then so there we go. So those are the 7 types of essays that this student can write about.
Yeah.
Um,
Your target, good.
yeah, it's important to have a target in your mind, and hopefully we can
Mm,
reach that or even surpass it. And students can aim high. But this sort of talks you through the method, right? Writing an essay, applying the feedback, improving.
mm,
And the recommendation is 4 consecutive essays per question type. So 4 creative writing essays in a row. You'll really see improvement. What we have the examiners doing now is giving a grade on the first essay, and the fourth essay,
mm.
and not the second and third, because it takes time to implement the feedback and improve. And we don't want students to be obsessed with the grade and not obsessed with the feedback, because that's really
Yeah.
how the improvement comes about. So in the first essay, let's say they're given a grade 6, they'll be told, we're giving you a grade 6. You've now got 2 essays where you're supposed to be implementing feedback, practicing. And hopefully
Hmm.
on the fourth essay, you'll see improvement. And almost always we do see improvement between essay 1 and essay 4, which is really nice to
Yeah.
see. Um, and if the student is going to write an essay, is going to do maybe twice a month, which we don't recommend, we recommend once a week.
Yeah.
Um, but if they're doing twice a month, we'll recommend this plan, which is 3 essays a month, for £20. But if they're doing once a week, we'll recommend them 5 essays a month. So that's really each week they have it part of their schedule. They're writing an
Mm.
essay, they're applying this feedback.
Yeah.
This is the plan that we give.
Yeah. And that's less than probably an hour of tuition as well. And you get so much feedback.
Yeah, yeah, it's way less than an hour of tuition
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends who we're going to, but yeah, five essays a month. That level of feedback that we saw, is our standard. There's those 3 voice recordings with every essay. That's always the
Mm.
model example. So that's sort of what students can expect.
Yeah. It's just brilliant. I can't, well, I'm gonna definitely emphasize it with my students to just have that additional support. It is affordable. It's definitely, and you
Yeah,
even offer like 20, is it 20% off for the first payment?
yeah, you guys have got 20% off the first month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
um,
I think so. I think that the five a month, the £35 a month is probably the best one for them to get that feedback and develop, and especially if you're doing language and literature as well. It's 2 GCSEs. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
brilliant.
Very cool.
Amazing. I am so pleased I have found you. I'm so sorry about my cat. And the dog.
We haven't seen the dog. We haven't seen the dog yet.
Oh no,
Is
she
he back?
came in. She came
Oh,
in.
right, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
As per
Must have been
usual.
doing the
Can you go over there, please,
screeching.
Pickles? Thank you. Go, 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 go. Thank you. But yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be brilliant sort of partnership. I think so.
Yeah.
It would be quite nice to maybe develop this into a science one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not my thing, to be honest. And it, I do think in science there might be room for AI, because there's a right or wrong answer.
Hmm.
I found when I was doing science GCSE.
What about history
Um,
then, and geography and things like that? Would that?
yeah, those are more what we're looking towards, is, history.
Yeah.
You can't mark a 12 mark essay by yourself. You have no idea how well you did.
No.
Um, and so that's sort of what we're moving towards.
Oh,
Also,
watch this space. If you
yeah, A
can,
level essay subjects.
yeah, A level even more so. And it will help those in school as well, as
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
get
think
that
so.
revision. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most of our customers so far are in school. I'm just pleased to be able to help the homeschooling
Yeah.
community also.
Amen. Yeah. But yeah, as and when you develop and add more subjects, I think
So
will
certainly let
definitely
you know.
be.
Yeah,
But yeah, could you do history and geography next, please? Thank you. And we do
sure.
sociology and we do media.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it will. I can see your structure and your your business just absolutely expanding and growing over the next
thanks,
few
Claire.
years.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
just
that.
especially if you had more subjects as well. We love AI. It's fine, but this, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just think we've got all these talented people that it just makes
Mm,
sense to use.
yeah,
And of all places, education is one where
yeah,
we're going to need our people.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, we will add more. So, I mean, the priority is to get really good at everything we do.
mm,
And we've got fantastic English teachers. Um, so that's sort of where we're focused on right now. And getting really good and understanding how improvement takes place. It's going to be slightly different in every subject.
yeah.
But we will get there.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And watch
Thanks,
this
Glenn.
space, everybody. We
Yeah,
will
definitely.
we'll definitely keep well, you will keep us up to date and
I will
as and
do.
when any new subjects come along. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna promote and make sure we get as many of our home ed people on your courses as much as possible because it's gonna hugely benefit.
Great.
Hugely benefit.
Great. All right. Thanks so much, Claire.
That's
Lovely to
okay.
see
I'm
you.
gonna pause the recording now. Thank you very much.
Great. All right.